so you can sing along. Yeah, la la la.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be with you. It is cold outside, at least by Houston standards. But it is great to be in here with you, making the warmth of community. We have many blessings this Shabbat, many things to celebrate, and one of them that we're very excited about is that our teacher, Rabbi Dr. Nancy Weiner, is here to be our teacher all weekend, and we are very excited to share her with you. We both had the opportunity to learn from her when we were in Rabbinical and Cantorial School, and we are so glad that you are here, and can't wait to learn from you later. And we are also very excited to be celebrating with the Swede and Michelle families as their daughters become Benot Mitzvah this weekend, who lead us in a little bit of prayer tonight and a lot of prayer tomorrow. We are very excited for you. And we are so glad to have all of you here, all of you who are joining us online. We would love for you to turn off your cell phones or anything that might distract you in this service or distract your neighbors. We want to remind you that the family room is available directly across the hall for any young people and their grown-ups or their grown-ups who need a break. And now we are going to invite up Elise and Braylon and their parents, Barry and David and Jody and Howard, to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles, which can be found on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so many we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Can have a seat. Take your book.
And so we turn to words from the Psalms that remind us to sing joyously. And it always feels so good to get to this moment of Shabbat and know that we are here in this room, that we can sing together as we welcome Shabbat in. Welcoming Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi that can be found on page 20. We sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to that 9th verse, we stand and face the entrance as we welcome Shabbat like a bride.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibure
Having greeted Shabbat, we take a moment to greet each other, turn to the people around you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. If you don't know them, introduce yourselves. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Our service continues on page 28 with Baruch Hu. There is nothing like driving around town after sunset in this season to make me feel like a stranger in a strange land. The ever-increasing number of light displays, unless you're going to the Hanukkah house in Fort Bend County. And then other than that, there's this season for me is full of complexity, full of seeing beauty around me, but also sometimes feeling distant from that beauty. And there is an Israeli poet named Maya Tevet Dayan who wrote this incredible book of poetry about, partially about the loss of her mother, but partially also about being an Israeli expat living in Canada. And she has a beautiful poem that is about sort of this season. It's about that feeling of being a stranger in a strange land. And it's about trying to hold an awareness of what you're missing while also being present to where you are. And I wanted to share it with you as our Ma'ariv Aravim tonight. It's called Nativity because she's playing with what it means to be a native. Soon winter will return, and we will go out to the rainforest that will never be ours, where small Christmas lights outline pine trees against a foreign sky. Darkness will fall at 3:30 in the afternoon, and at home we'll mix hot cocoa in dark mugs. The evening will draw out like a melody, and there will be plenty of time to read poems and listen to the rain. There will be leisure to discuss the future, to speak slowly and deliberately as if it was under our control and ignore the past which orphans us unceasingly, as if sadness had never planted us here, as if we had only just emerged this very instant, immaculate and wondering. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
And we're reminded with this next prayer, Ahavat Olam, that we are loved. Ahavat for the morning light. I already feel it shining before I open up my eyes. I already see it shining when my road is rough. I can feel your love, and that's enough for me. Blessed love, holy love, sacred love, abundant love, source of love, let your love shine down on me. As above, so below, love from whom all blessings flow, source of love, let your love shine down on me. Shine on me and the ones I love, shine from below and from above. Protect my family and be a light in me. Shine on me and the ones I love, shine from below and from above. Protect my family and be a light in me. Be a light in me. Be a light in me. Ahava. Ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated as we invite. You may be seated as we invite Braylon. She knew. She's on top of it. She's good. Who's going to lead us in Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופתך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 39. We pray together at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land,
that the winding way to that
promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Page 40. Oh, but let me play the right chord. Okay. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, ba'eli Adonai, mi chamocha, nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oseh pele, nora tehilot, oseh pele. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
We continue with Vishamru as we thank God for the blessing of Shabbat on page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים, שמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם,
Philip, when you're having fun, we're having fun. We come now to the Amidah, which begins on page 46, and we're going to invite Elise up to lead us and invite you, please, to rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufia gitahilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Veloheinu, Velohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Shtei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Gula Lifnei Fnechem, Leman Shemo Be'achava, Melech Ozer Umishia Umakein, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekin Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Loshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umrid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Verafek Cholim, Umatir Yasurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamo Chabal Gevurot, Umidolelach, Melech Mimiut Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim bechol yom, Yachalu hasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Go back to your seat.
Nailed it. You may be seated. We continue on page 55. We pray responsively. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans.
Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 60, our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer. If you don't know what to say, make a list of 5 things you're grateful for today. I promise it'll change your life.
Adonai Tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth, and the meditations of my heart, be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yehu liratzon imrifi. Ve'egion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri ve'goali. Adonai tzuri ve'goali.
We offer now a prayer for Israel, a prayer for the hope of peace and a better tomorrow. Join me in these words on the screen. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel and all peoples of the earth. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts lest they harden with despair. Guide our thoughts lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yedid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh HaShalom. And we turn our prayerful attention to those in our lives and in our community who are in need of healing and wholeness and strength. We think of those whose pains and illnesses we see and know, and those whose pain we can never see and never know. Those who struggle with chronic pain and chronic illness, those who struggle with addiction, and those who are in recovery. We send our prayer also to the caregivers who offer strength and love each and every day. We're thinking tonight about Marcia Block, Marty Block, Kathy Borden, Marie Bryant, Melba Berman, Eileen Sersansky, Kathy Chaco, Kathy Phillips-Chellin, Robert Cohn, Stephanie Cousins, Kathy Ellinger, Benjamin Gibson, Marcine S. Goldman, Jerry Halfant, Philip Hall Jr., Terry Hazelwood, Robin Hodgkins, Christina Howard, Simon Kim, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Linda Longnecker, Mary Madrigal, Philip McAdam, Stuart Miller, Ron Nodler, Magdalene Pessin, Max Pasternak-Reichak, Neil Reisman, Sidney Rogan, Joel Selzer, Edward Simmons, Bob Stein, Rana Train, Laura Winthrop, Margaret Winthrop, Yvonne Zients, Ariella Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Batya Mendoza Bat Maria, Gelka Nechama Bat Leba Chaya, Levi ben Yaakov Yitzchak, Sarah Bat Yehuda Leib, Shimshon ben Fagel, and Yehoshua Matityahu ben Yaakov Vepre V'chana, and all who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit. We offer these words of healing and hope on page 250 on the screen. A few announcements for this Shabbat. First of all, we are so happy to be in the midst of this 2024 Roselle and Robert I. Kahn's Scholar in Residence Weekend with Rabbi Nancy Weiner. I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a few minutes. We want to thank those of you who RSVP'd for dinner tonight. We're so happy that our dinner sold out. If you RSVP'd for dinner, join us in the boardroom after the service. And I know that in a minute you're going to be wondering, when else can I learn from Rabbi Weiner? So I want to remind you that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. she'll be teaching our Torah study here in person. Tomorrow at 10:30 she'll be preaching as part of our chapel service. And then on Sunday at 9 a.m., she is leading an adult education session called Understanding Moral Injuries Through Stories in Genesis. Come to any of them, come to all of them. You're going to love it. Also, following tomorrow morning's service, there is our monthly Shmooze and Schmear complimentary bagel breakfast. No RSVP was necessary for that. That one can't sell out, so you should come. This coming Wednesday, December 11th at 7 p.m., Emmanuel is pleased to launch the 2024-2025 Endowment Speaker Series entitled The Power of Words, featuring authors and journalists whose work centers around social justice, current events, and marginalized populations. Our first speaker is Sarah Hurwitz. She is an author. She was a political speechwriter. She wrote this incredible book called Here All Along, Finding Meaning, Spirituality, and a Deeper Connection to Life in Judaism, and she's going to be talking about her experience, also not to be missed. And then on December 15th at 5 p.m. is our volunteer choir annual winter showcase entitled A Magical Journey of Imagination. Join us for a journey through places and times past and present, including music from Pippin, Anastasia, Camelot, and the Beatles. One of those things is not like the other. Fun for all ages. Register to join us for dinner for that. So the Roselle and Robert I. Kahn Scholar in Residence program was a gift to the Kahn honor of their, to the couple in honor of their 35th wedding anniversary and Rabbi Kahn's 65th birthday from a bunch of their friends and members of the congregation. And the idea of this Scholar in Residence series is to bring in leading thinkers in the Reform movement. And so as we were thinking about leading thinkers in the Reform movement, we were really excited to invite Rabbi Dr. Nancy Weiner, to speak to us tonight. She was actually supposed to come last year and couldn't, and we're so glad you're finally here. Rabbi Weiner is the founding director of the Jacob and Hilda Blaustein Center for Pastoral Counseling at HUC-JIR in New York. Go Leviathans. She was named the Dr. Paul and Trudy Steinberg Distinguished Professor in Human Relations in 2012, and she serves as the Rabbinical Program's Fieldwork Coordinator. There are lots of things I could tell you about her. She is an amazing teacher of pastoral care. But what I will say about her is that one of the things that fifth-year students in rabbinical school have to do is write a thesis, and you get to request from a professor to be your thesis advisor. And it was so abundantly obvious to me who I wanted to have as my thesis advisor, mostly because I wanted to have like an opportunity to hang out in your office and talk about big issues and exciting things, but also because that I knew that your wisdom and your sensitivity and your creativity were things I wanted to learn more from in depth before I went out to become a rabbi. And so it was a blessing to work with you then. It's an incredible blessing to have you here as our teacher tonight. And so I'm excited to share Rabbi Dr. Nancy Weiner with you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Genesis is the beginning book of the Bible and the book of beginnings, which provides us with images of a world created from chaos, from tohu vavohu, a world that's spoken into being, a rather dreamlike image, sort of magical. Elements that exist out in the world are swirling around, and God, we're told, sees them from a vantage point that defies the waking imaginations of humans and combines them into day and night, into sea and land and sky, into systems with vegetation and water to support animals and humans. A motif that runs throughout the Torah portions from this week through the end of the book of Genesis is that individuals' dreams have the power to transform their lives and the world. Indeed, the most powerfully motivating dreams seem to emerge at the moments when somebody has lost their known signposts, and they're not sure how to put the seemingly disparate pieces of their lives together into a future that they can imagine themselves living into. This week's Torah portion begins with Jacob, at the darkest and most chaotic point in his life. He, who has received his father's blessing, he who is his mother's favorite, has fled his family's home because he stole his twin's birthright and blessing. And now his twin brother is set on killing him. He leaves with no money, no apparent skills to fend for himself. His brother was the hunter, he was the homebody, and no way to make real the promise of the blessing that he had received. In fact, with each step that he takes towards the border of the land, his blessing and its promises are further from his reach. The promise of a future filled with descendants that would take place in that land. It's at this juncture that Jacob has his first dream. His dream of a ladder with angels going up and down between earth and heaven. A dream in which God comes to him promising two things: the land, the same one that he's about to leave, and a future in which all peoples will be blessed through him and his descendants. When Jacob wakes the next day, the tale of his journey, narrated at the beginning, is interrupted by the dream, but his journey continues. It describes Jacob as lifting his feet, And according to a midrash in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, he arrives in Haran, his destination, in the blink of an eye. It would seem that though described as awake, he's still asleep. He's still in a dreamlike state, for only when he gets to Haran is he described as lifting his eyes and actually noticing the things around him. The rabbis explain the alacrity with which he arrives in Haran as an indication that the dream has empowered him to imagine a possible future for himself that had seemed completely unattainable when he went to sleep. Unattainable as he fled from the house of his parents, as he left his homeland, the only home that he'd ever known. After years in Haran, working for his mother's brother, he's a married man, married to his cousins Leah and Rachel, and he has fathered children with both of them and their handmaids. He's managed to master animal husbandry and has made a deal with his father-in-law to take the speckled flocks, making himself a wealthy man. Yet, he feels oppressed by his father-in-law, who, for decades, has not paid him fair wage. In those years, he never, ever felt himself to be his own man. He seems far, far away from realizing the promise that God had made to him. And it's at that point that he has his second dream, a dream that we tend not to pay much attention to as we read this portion because the angels is so enticing, but a dream nonetheless that is life-altering again for him. In this dream, he sees what has filled his days for decades: flocks. Flocks of different colors, flocks of different sizes, and of different values. This earthbound, materially focused dream, according to the medieval commentators, serves as a wake-up call for Jacob. They explain that the images of herds that flash before Jacob in this dream show him how much he's changed since his first dream. Rather than dreaming of the earthly and the heavenly, he is totally earthbound. He has become like his father-in-law and his father-in-law's kin, acquisitive, concerned only with accumulating wealth. He's forgotten the values which he was raised with. In this second dream, as he describes it to his wives, God called to him directly and told him to arise and leave the land that he's in and return to his native land. Nothing tangible has changed in Jacob's life or in his world. Yet his dream contains all of the familiar elements of daily life and presents the seemingly familiar in a new way to him. And suddenly, Jacob can see himself and the world from a vantage point that had eluded him until that moment, or perhaps that he'd been unwilling or unable to see. Jacob can begin to conceive of a future for himself that is not merely a continuation of his present, a future that is the fulfillment of the promise that God had made to him years before. Dreams invite us to play with what we think we know and consider new options and possibilities. When we dream, either while asleep or as we daydream during the day, disbelief is briefly suspended. The familiar and the unfamiliar coexist, unbound by time or space or logic. The multisensory, uncensored experiences of dreams expose us to possibilities that do not and cannot yet exist in our waking world. We see ourselves as we long to see ourselves. We see ourselves as we hope never to be. We hear and taste and smell and touch a world that has never been. We see our conflicts and we see possibilities, viable and fantastic, all born of our joys, our fears, and our longings. Emanating from the depths of our being, dreams have the power to move us, and profoundly as any lived experiences we've known. Contemporary scientists who study sleep patterns and dreams explain that in dreams we detach from our conscious waking life and enter the realm of the unconscious and the imagination. In a dream state, a different kind of information becomes available to us as our bodies and brains rest, and we're able to integrate what confronts us during our waking hours. As Benjamin Baird, a researcher at the Center for Sleep and Consciousness at the University of Wisconsin in Madison explained, what the brain is doing at all times is trying to construct a model of the world around us from the best input it has. When we're awake, he says, the input comes from our environment, but when we're asleep, the input comes from within. Dreams defy the laws that govern our waking lives. When we enter a dream state and our disbelief is suspended, the impossible and the unimaginable coexist. Our great-grandparents can be sitting in conversation with our grandchildren. The favorite tree from our childhood home can appear in our current backyard. The person who hurt us as a child can be our best friend and our newest collaborator in a project that we'd never dreamed of before. The sounds of sirens calling people to bomb shelters can turn into birds singing songs of peace and harmony. Dreams are described in the Talmud as 1/60th of prophecy. The prophets encouraged the people to suspend their disbelief so that they could dream and imagine themselves behaving differently, so that they could dream and imagine a world transformed. The prophets encouraged people to dream so that they could heal themselves, so that they could heal their world. The Hebrew word lahachlim can be translated in two ways: to cause someone to dream and to heal. Encouraging others to dream, allowing ourselves to dream, particularly in dark times when everything seems chaotic, can be healing for us and for our world. Long before Freud considered the importance of analyzing dreams, the dreams in Genesis, dreamt by Jacob and Joseph and Pharaoh and Laban, and the cup maker and the baker in the prison, underscore for us the possibilities that can open up when we remember and reflect upon our dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." When we share our dreams for ourselves and our world, we take the first step toward making them real. Think of it, every time we gather as a Jewish community, we read prayers that remind us of our shared vision, our collective dream of what the future can be. We are reminded that it's okay to dream and that we aren't alone in our dreaming. As we learn from Jacob and Joseph, even when our options seem most limited, when the world around us seems most chaotic and dark, and our future seems profoundly threatened, our dreams can be a lifeline. Holding on to our dreams can be a sign of our resilience. Our dreams can help us heal the past and the present and restore our faith that there will be a future that we're willing to work toward for ourselves and for our descendants. As Langston Hughes wrote, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow." As we sing the Aleinu in a few minutes, may we hold fast to our shared dreams, and may we let them take flight. Shabbat Shalom.
As our professor of pastoral care, most of what you taught us was about how we can bring healing to this world, to individuals who are hurting and to a world in need of healing. Thank you for bringing that here. We continue now with Aleinu L'Shabeach, which can be found on the bottom of page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Atet Gedula L'Yotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Ki Goyi Ha'aratzot, Velo Zamanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Banachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 287.
Please be seated. As we prepare for Mourner's Kaddish this evening, one more poem from Maya Tevet Dayan. You can tell I really liked this new book she wrote. This one is about an imagined conversation with generations past, something we heard about just a moment ago. And it's called, "I Want an Electric Juicer." "Why electric? What's wrong with the real kind?" my dead grandmother asks. "All our lives, we squeezed oranges by hand." "Why should she work so hard if there's an easier way?" That's my mother from her life in the beyond. "You two are always looking to spend money," my grandmother grumbles. "An entire life and death, and she's still lecturing us." "Buy yourself one and I'll pay for it," my mother ends the discussion, as if she still has a bank account, as if I'm not paying from my pocket for all the gifts she has bought me since her death. "I'll buy it for you, Bubala," my grandmother concedes, lifting the burden as usual from my mother. After all, she has left us a goodly amount from all the taxis she never rode, the leftover food she refused to throw away, the tea bag she dipped into the same cup until it fainted, the socks she darned. What will I leave behind, except for tormented conversations with the dead? What will I manage to put aside from all the coins accumulated on my behalf through endless hours of labor, human lives, hard-working generations? I don't even like oranges. But you need Vitamin C for your health, my dead grandmother interjects. See, we are starting up again. We take a few moments now for silent memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the families of Ellen Deborah Weingarten and Edwin Graber, who were laid to rest in recent days. We also recall the memories of yard sites that followed this season: Zamora B. Ablon, Dorothy Ablon Ross, Souza Axelrod, Fanny Cohen Behar, Wilbur Bernstein, Helen L. Birnbaum, Ann Blick, Abraham Babbitt, Howard Bornett, Babette Bergauer, Martin H. Byron, Betty Calderon, Louis Milton Kaplan, Catherine Sersansky, Leonard Swede Sersansky, Herman Cohen, Samuel Colcia, Max Davis, Robert Drew, Beatrice Dubinsky, Shirley Edloff, Larry Ellis, Sidney Englehart, Jerome Epstein, Shirley Norman Farkas, Arlene Feld, Elizabeth Fisher, Jeanette Fisher, Jill Friedman Fixler, Daniel Stephen Frank, Max Frosch, Ben Gates, Sidney Lloyd Gaines, Israel Gelfond, Gertrude Gerson, Norman Getz, Rosetta Simon Gibson, Jack J. Gimbel, Willie E. Glave, Edith Gold, Anna Mae Goldberg, Maxwell Goldenberg, Emily Lou Goldgar, Oscar Goldshine, Helen L. Goldstein, Celia Ruth Gomberg, Milton Goodman, Rory Mark Greenberg, Eva Grevsky, Perry Edward Gross, Sylvia Goodell, Dan Halperin, Doris Harris, Evelyn Edame Hartfield, Marty Hassan, Leo Hoffman, Vicky Hoodis, Harry A. Horn, Eva Engler Hurwitz, Beverly Jacobs, Dorothy Jacobs, Max Jacobson, Paul Josloff, Rosa Caldor, Harry Kalmans, Ray Kalmans, Stanley Kaplan, Arlene Karklin, Ruby Proler Karp, Selma Summer Klausman, Ida Dropkin Klein, Fanny G. Lack, Shirley Landsberg, Annette Palin Larson, Max Lemo, Ernestine Leon, William Levine, Ann Levinson, Ilsa Levy, Evelyn Maltz, Sylvia Weil Marcus, Max Margulies, Roberta Marks, Sadie Cohen Marks, Emma Jean Martin, Julianne Alec Mattis, Meyer Mellinger, Sarah Mendelowitz, Donald Marvin Mayer, Hilda Michaels, Abraham Moskowitz, Evelyn Muntz, Martha Nadelman, Esther Noble, Mina Stein Parvin, Ida Pessis, Barbara Singer Phillips, Elliot S. Phillips, Jack Pollock, Eleanor Wolf Poplack, Hortense Porter, Seymour Ratty, Ann Rath, Maxine Mickey Remmels, Hillary Rose, Dorothy Rosenblum, Marvin Rosemarin, Frida Spear Rubenstein, Edward I. Schiff, Louis Schneider, George Schnitzer, Harry Schraber, Roberta Schwartz, Gloria L. Sharney, Molly Chasnoff Scheinberg, Manuel Sherman, Emil Sherman, Don S. Schidler, Hyman Siff, Max Silverstein, David A. Slavin, Patricia Sofer, Linda Stein, Dorothy Sosno Strauss, Irvin N. Tarsus, Jerry Van, Bernice Wagman, Lawrence Buddy Weiser, I. B. Westheimer Jr., Odessa Wexler, Cecile Wexler Schumann, Donna Wilsker, Sheba Kaplan Zeitman, Arthur Zeidel, Francis N. Zimmerman, Alice L. Zucker, William Zucker. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We turn to page 294 and rise together as one community for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, ba'al ma divrach chirutei v'al mich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omer maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitvo'aman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dikudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiram be'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
You may be seated as we transition from Kaddish to Kiddush and invite Braylon and Elise's brothers Theodore and Max, and their cousins up to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. Have a sip.
Wait, we're not done with it. Get to bless the
Okay,
challah
and
too.
now the motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
You can take some
Have some
challah, pass it to your
challah.
cousins. Come on. What? You don't have to finish that. You can, I guess, if you want to. Okay. It's grape juice.
And so we're going to conclude with this melody we began with. The words are yai lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. You guys can head back to your seats. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la
Please rise for the closing benediction. Mikor Chaim Uvracha, source of life and blessing, bless this room full of dreamers. Bless us that we may find vision and hope in our dreams. Bless us that our dreams might take flight and bring peace to a world in so desperate a need of it. We thank you for all the blessings in our lives, the blessings that surround us every day, the ones we notice and the ones that pass us by. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.